Hello and welcome to episode 11 of our Timberborn update for a modded playthrough with Folktales faction. It's here in cycle 27, about probably halfway through the temperate season. And last episode, we did a little bit of improvement in a couple different spots. We increased the amount of farming happening up here. We made a much nicer looking housing complex over here in the Iron Islands district. Started construction of the last 3 smelters, for right now at least. They're just about done with this horizontal framed flywheel, and then they'll have 2 more smelters on top. And most notably, we did a brand new housing complex that doesn't look quite so ridiculous insane. And I think there's a couple things I want to fix with this, but we're not going to worry about that too much because today we have some other stuff we really should be getting to. And among those things, we need to be planting a lot more of these sunflowers because, as some of you have pointed out, when we get into bots, the refineries for making the fuel and all that fun stuff actually require, for one of the recipes, sunflower seeds. Which, of course, we could do different recipes, but we're going to want to have a lot of those anyway. It's good, cheap food, and doesn't require a whole lot of effort to maintain. So I think the most efficient recipe is still potatoes, from what I understand, but it's always good to have a good variety of things. So what we're going to do is we're going to, since these farmhouses will not reach all the way over here, we're going to put another farmhouse up here in this general area, and we're going to probably have most of this end up being planted stuff. Now let's see just how much we can get away with. I can put one here at the very top. I could put another one down here. That actually will cover, yeah, that'll cover everything. Actually, if we put one there and one here, that'll take care of all of this area. We'll be able to plant whatever we so choose. I think we probably still need a few more carrots. I don't think I want to mix different stuff here. We'll see what happens though. We are still kind of in limbo in terms of having the supply chain stuff figured out. So until we get that 100% locked down, I think we're just going to keep on planting a bunch of random stuff and seeing what sticks. I know we do have plenty of space over here to put in some more wheat. We did, at the very end of the last episode, put in this other Dutch windmill for wheat flour. So we should see processing for that go up a little bit. And we also have these bakeries. A couple of these. Actually, only one of these making maple pastries. Or is this one too? Yeah, those two making maple pastries. But we don't have maple syrup, which is interesting because we do have our tapper shack right here, and these maple trees have not been harvested, so I don't know exactly what's happening here. I think based on how this other stuff is looking, we might want to go ahead and prioritize the maple syrup, see what they're able to take care of, because, I mean, these trees have the syrup, so should be able to make use of it. At any rate, let's go ahead and start planting some stuff here. We've got sunflowers. Easily just get all of that planted. And then we also have probably a decent reason to plant some more carrots. I also was thinking about planting some more chestnut trees. But if we take a look at these, I believe these have all been harvested, except this guy, that guy just got harvested. And we seem to be kind of running out of chestnuts, so I am going to go ahead and plant some more chestnut trees over here. The tapper shack can reach those all the way up to there. I'm not going to plant any more trees up on the top here, but I did want to make sure we got at least a little bit more. See what ends up happening with that. And then give these guys up here something else to do with our efficient farmhouse. Based off of the supplies here, I think it's probably going to need to be a mixture of carrots and sunflower seeds. So I'm going to go ahead and plant this left side here as carrots, and then these 4 as well. If we need to expand to that, we can. Give that a shot. We'll see what happens. But for right now, I don't think we really need to worry about it that much. Meanwhile, over here in farmland, we have a pretty decent thing going on with the potatoes. A couple of you have asked, why don't you use beehives? And that is because every time I've done that in the past, which admittedly has not been very many, they have not gone well, and all of my beavers have gotten stings. So if we research these, which we probably should anyway, we're going to have somewhere to stick these guys kind of in the middle of stuff. And I think, what is it, 3 on a side? Yeah, 3 on a side. So if we were to actually utilize these, probably would want to do it in places where there's not going to be beavers walking by, at least not regularly. So I'm not going to have anything right next to the pass, obviously. But just out of curiosity, if I unplant that guy there for a beehive, then we count over 3 spaces, 3 more spaces, and then another one here. That'll get just about everything right here except these 2. I don't know. We're going to try it out, and if it helps, it helps. If it doesn't help, then well, it's not going to be any different than it is now. So no real need to be upset about anything. We'll just see what happens. So we'll go 3 over on the side. All right, plant one here in the potatoes. Don't want to go too crazy with stuff. I'd like to avoid these guys getting stung, but I mean, it's going to be pretty much impossible at this point. At least if it's like I remember. Not guaranteed that that's what's going to happen, but I do not remember having a very good time. But we'll try it. You guys want to see it. And theoretically, it's supposed to help. It just says boost the growth of nearby crops. I've never measured it. Never really quantified anything. So we'll see what happens. Another thing, a very good suggestion that we got in the comments was to move this water dump up and have this be like a waterfall, and then have a stream gauge in the bottom of the Lido here. I love that idea, but I think the way this is set up right now, that probably isn't going to work. So we might just have to leave that alone for now. But what we can do is we can have this thing dynamited out 2 squares down, and then we'll put a stream gauge in there so we can kind of automate this. Another suggestion we had was to go ahead and dynamite out maybe this guy and just have this completely match the level of the water outside, since this likely won't ever be low enough to cause the Lido not to work. But, you know, I kind of like this guy being in here like this. I think that's kind of cool. So we'll see exactly what that ends up looking like once we have everything detonated appropriately. Hopefully this doesn't mess with the beavers who are swimming when I set off this dynamite right here. Cool. Alright, that didn't seem to phase anybody. Just plant that down at the bottom. And that should hopefully allow us not to spend as much water, even though that's not really something we need to be super concerned about. We'll see what happens. Just waiting on that to get built. And then we'll put our stream gauge in the bottom. Now I figured it would be a little fat. Oh, look, he's coming in from up top. All right, cool. So that's done. Stream gauge, in you go. Get that thing built, and then we'll get that all programmed. Now, we do have some space up here we could do some other stuff with. I was trying to figure out exactly what we'd want to do. Actually, why does this not have the overhang next to it? I thought for sure I had I'd built one of those. Well, that's weird. Unless the game glitched or something. I feel like that should be too far from a district. What? Are you sure? Doesn't seem like it's complaining about it now. Huh. Very strange. Alright, did they build this yet? Nope. Okay, here he comes. Here he comes to build this thing. Alright, so that needs to be connected. Yep. No objects linked. Advanced. Attach stream gauge. There we go. I'm going to pause. What's the current level? 2.9? Let's say unpause when below, say 2.5. Pause when above 2.5. Or maybe that's not enough latitude. Let's say pause when above 2.9. Maybe 2.85, just so we have a little bit of wiggle room. At any rate, now it's paused. That annoying icon is there. I probably should get that mod that, turns that off. But for right now, I'm not going to be too terribly concerned about it. Good, so they got this built. Like I was saying, we have... I thought I actually had roofs on top of here, so I don't know. Maybe some shenanigans occurred with my save game, and I've just... insane. But trying to figure out exactly what we want to put over. I was thinking that it would not be a terrible idea to put some more rooftop terraces in and just kind of double stack this whole thing. And then on the sides here, having just regular roofing or something to that effect. So in the interest of beaver well-being, why don't we just do that? Stick these guys on the side here. That really does not look too bad. And I thought that would be kind of an interesting idea. And we also did get a suggestion in the comments to replace some of these platforms with the suspension bridges. But the problem with those guys is the way that the paths work. They wouldn't really be very useful here because they have to have a complete straight line approach on the back side of the bridge span. So if we had 1x1 bridges, they would not be able to be used as doorways on the landing. So unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to get to that. That is a good idea, though. I do like that. And I do want to try to use bridges a little bit more. This has been something I haven't really taken too much of an advantage of. So we'll keep that in mind in the future, see what happens. Check out our, rooftop terrace number still needs to go way up, but it is nice to have. Should be 6 of those now. We have 2 here. Oh, 8. We have 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, and 2 here. These guys over here in the observatory don't have one, but they're going to be fine. All right, I think I've got space now to put in beehives. Make sure we don't put them on the path. I'm just so curious about like the mechanics of this because it's never worked for me. All it's done is it just stung all my beavers, and things have gone quite poorly. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just dumb. Maybe I'm not doing anything right. I know for a fact this is the only thing the game tells you about it. So I guess I just have to wait for these guys to get stung. And we also don't know. See, that just says 4 days. That says 4 days. So I don't know. If it actually had some sort of a measurable increase in crop growth speed, it would be nice if it told us that effect. Let's see, we got 3 injured beavers. Okay, you're injured, but you don't have a bee sting, so you weren't stung. Guess that's looking okay. Now we built this thing, the decoration internal corner. We should, in theory, having some of these beavers have the beautiful dam. There it goes. So we know that does actually work. We just presently don't have any way for that to actually benefit anything. So why don't we go ahead, since we're already over here. I did say we're going to do some decoration over here. So why don't we do one of these just around the corner like that, and then we can attach some shrubberies. That's going to look pretty nice. I think, based on how this is looking here, going to have that there. Then I'm not really going to have any much room over here. But we could still put in a, well, something here. I don't know, maybe we don't need to. Maybe we just have the hedge there. We don't need to put roofs here because all of these already have them. But if there's some sort of other interesting thing we could do, might want to look into that. Right now, though, this is going to be just fine. Nice little additions there. And like I said earlier, and also last episode, we have to do something over here that's going to be at least a little bit of an improvement for our beavers' well-being. So let's take a second to think here. This is not a very easy space to build in terms of making something look nice because of the 2x2 size. But I don't think it's unreasonable for us to have a couple of interesting things here. We can do shrubs. We could do a shrub, a single shrub, a shrub, whatever you want to call it. And then a shrine easily accessible there. I don't think we're going to need to have a medical bed. We have a couple over here. It does have medicine in it. I don't think we have a healer in this district anymore, but they're also not really getting injured that much. So I don't think we really need to worry about that. So shrine here. What else can we stick over here that's actually going to fit in that space? I don't really know that there's much of anything, honestly. So for right now, I think we just kind of leave this alone. Come back here maybe a little bit later. Oh, we did have an idea that I liked a lot, was to get rid of all of these berries right here and then put a temple up here on this island, which I think would be a fantastic idea. Just have to have a good connectivity to it, but that wouldn't be a very difficult ask. Plus, we really don't need the berries, so let's get rid of those and then see about connecting stuff with a path. We do have, I guess, a decent access if we're careful with how we have this loaded up here. I guess probably would not be the worst thing to just have a path through our aquatic farmhouse area. We have so much space to plant plants. So I think it would behoove us to have some nice, beautiful frog paths put in place for our aquatic friends. Put some metal stairs going up. And then I think we already have metal stairs there. I guess I probably, even though it's not very aesthetically appealing, should just bite the bullet and have a frog path come in like that. It'll be very accessible to most of the beavers living here. And eventually, when we get to this point, that we can have all that other stuff demolished, removed, taken care of. You know, I'm just going to demolish this because we have so much spatterdock. Get that out of the way. Don't need to be waiting on everything. But that's looking nice. Up here, also looking good. I think we can finally unpause this printing press. See what happens. Once our numbers of metal blocks start really getting up there, then I'm going to start hoarding those, and we're going to prep for trains because we have quite a ways to travel to get up in this area and all sorts of other things all over the map. Of course, we're going to start simple with the train between the Iron Islands and Beaverburg 11 and engineer some sort of an interesting looking bridge that's actually going to be useful as well. That's probably going to take me a decent bit of time because I am not the most aesthetically minded person. I am trying, which is why we're doing these videos. Helps a little bit in that regard. So let's go ahead, unlock the temple, rotate this doorway around, and then decide where on our island if we want to have all this. I think probably right here is a decent spot. So we'll do that. This is the only part of the map where the frog paths can be above water because that is the pathway to the temple, as we've done before. I don't really know why you guys like the frogs so much, but hey, we'll roll with it. That's fine. We got those guys there. Let's do a little bit of landscaping at the front doors. I will put in a hedge here and a hedge here. Let's put a shrub right there, looking nice. Just a little bit of landscaping at the entrance. And they'll make use of their weird chanting and whatever other stuff they do at a temple. But we'll leave them to that. That should help our well-being score substantially. Also, when we do the Fountain of Joy monument, we have to have the monument actually submerged partially in water. So that's going to be an interesting challenge for us to think about what we want to do for that. Right now, getting books up is going to be good. Temple should be a huge boost. And then eventually we can start looking into doing stuff like carousels, mud baths, Ferris wheels, and all of that. One thing that we have not done really still is almost anything to do with campfires. We just kind of ignored it for a long time, and it hasn't really been the worst thing ever not to have those, but that is something we probably do need to be using. The only bad thing about it is they are kind of hard to deal with because they take up so much space on the ground. And there's not really that many good spots left to build any, based off of how this is set up. Another thing to consider is we don't have... Wow, we don't have any monuments on this big guy right here. And that was one thing I was debating whether or not we wanted to build them on top of this thing, or if that would be too terribly ugly. But, I mean, where else... Honestly, where else are we going to put it? So that was, I think, one of the reasons I hadn't put anything there yet. But if we were to do, I think... Yeah, that still reaches everybody. Farming monument there. The brazier of bonding there. You know, it's just one of those things. Pause those two, and then I do have to do the roof pieces. Even if those do look a little bit ugly. Like that, but I think it's going to be fine. We'll let those get built. Everything's looking all right. Now, why are we... Oh, there's no path connecting those. All right. That's connected. So now we have a substantial amount of metal production. And we are producing 300 more than we're using, which means we should have these slowly filling up, and they are. Scrap metal availability in this district is becoming a challenge, so we need to reinforce that with some additional scavenger flags. We'll just add 3 more of those. There's not going to be too much more harvesting we can do over here before we have to move on to this other area, or go to the underground ruins, which we can unlock. The bad thing about them in the folktales is it is a very poor recipe. Just have a gear and a treated plank. After 1.8 hours gives you only 2 scrap metal. So it's really not a very efficient method of obtaining metal, especially since it injures your beavers. So I think our best bet... Wow, we've really kind of cleaned this whole thing out, huh? Our best bet is going to be to continue on to these other iron islands all the way up here. Could end up being a separate district, could end up just being a train ride, because now the trains do support passengers, which was a new update to the mod since we last played in update 3. So you see right here we have a passenger station right here. I have not messed with this. I do not know how that works. All I know is we're definitely going to mess with it later sometime in this series and see if we can use it for great effect with all of our stuff. Now we're having a problem here with our maple pastries, and I think the issue is still our maple syrup, which I just don't understand. Oh, there's that drought again. I don't understand why they're not harvesting this, because this tapper shack is supposed to be harvesting. It's in range, and like it is harvesting, but it's not fast enough, which is kind of worrying. The amount of stuff we're making. Maybe it's just because we made a whole bunch of packaged foods all at once, and it kind of shocked the system. Wasn't able to keep up. Not sure. But we do have Well, actually, we don't have a lot of wheat and wheat flour, so I'm just going to go ahead and plant these all as wheat, like we probably should have a while back. That will help at least. This is looking, I believe, better. We do still have about 700-ish sunflower seeds left over, but we also are running kind of low on this other stuff, like these grilled chestnuts. It's part of the reason why I planted some more chestnut trees. And we might, at some point, have to add some more of these trees here. I don't know. It's going to depend on what we're able to justify in terms of land usage. But I'm definitely not super worried. We have 4,700-ish of our super beaver lunchables, beaver bentos, whatever you want to call them. So that's looking fine. Don't really have any complaints there. Outside of that, we need to check on the beehives again, but I didn't really have anything concrete planned. So I think we're going to do a couple of other small projects today before we... Oh, the chanting has continued. I just have to imagine that when they recorded the sound for that, they just had a whole bunch of people come into a conference room and they had them read off some, I don't know, like terms and conditions for using software or something that they'd written up on a board, and then they put it through voice changers. So I don't know, some sort of really mundane thing, but it just sounds weird because of all the different processing stuff they did to it. It's a certifiably creepy sound, but hey, it's fine. Now let's come over here, check in on our beehives. Do we have beehive injured, bee sting injured beavers? So let's look for, wow, this guy's got 48 well-being. Wow, what's up, Roy? What's going on, man? What kind of bonuses do you have that make you so happy here? +5 for the temple. Yep, that's a very powerful one. +5 for the brazier of bonding. And honestly, you're not really into anything else that nobody else has access to. So I guess maybe that's just the way of living over here. Let's turn these on, get these built, and see how that helps the rest of the. Look how crowded this is. We're gonna need to add more lanes or beaver freeways here. Yeah. So what I was saying is, there's not really anything I can tell about how these beehives are affecting anything, because it has not changed the duration of growth, and it's really not very clear with what this actually does, outside of just saying, hey, it boosts the growth of nearby crops. Okay, well, that's great, but give me some sort of metric to compare it to, right? It's not exactly clear. So I think what we'll do here is I'm not going to completely cover this. I wish that wasn't 8. I was going to hope that was 7 spots so I could actually take advantage of that. Well, that's fine. See, we got this here. This guy is going to be covered completely if I do that, but then they're going to sting these. See, I just never really liked this. Maybe I'm just dumb, bad at the game, whatever, but it's just, why does this exist if it's not actually providing that much of a tangible benefit? Why is that a thing? Well, anyway, not too much else we can do about that. We do have 70 unemployed beavers. We really do not need this many. And I think we are going to have to demolish this big housing right here. We just don't need all of this. And maybe this could become something that would be better used as recreation. Like, I don't know if we could put in a... what is the size of the carousel? We have to unlock all this stuff anyway. Okay, that's right. Those were 6 by 5 because you have to have the thing on the back. So that would actually fit more or less perfectly here. As long as we could attach a windmill or 2 to this. It does take 400, so it would have to be 2 windmills and maybe a flywheel or 2 to store a little bit of power. But I don't know. I kind of want to just get rid of this whole thing right here, because I like this. This looks nice. This I'm not really in love with. It's kind of some prime real estate that could very easily be used for the betterment of everybody. And you know, we did a little bit of beaver urban renewal in Tuesday's episode. So I think, yeah, I mean, we have over 300 beavers. We don't need them. Let's pause real quick. This is going to hold 6. That's going to be 12. The triple lodges, can I please rotate? Thank you. Going to hold 9, so that's another 18. We're up to 30. This is going to be 36, 42. Yeah, I'm just going to get rid of this. No hard feelings, beaver friends. But we're going to put something better here. So that's gone. Let's see, can I get away with putting in a carousel, I guess facing this way so we can look at it, because we're going to be mostly looking from this perspective. If we did that, can I get away with power connection is blocked? Are you sure about that? It should honestly just, you know, work like this. So I put 2 of those framed flywheels. If I just did, say, 2, I mean, they lose so much power, those, is the problem. And I can't really, hold on. Can I get away with burying this? I don't know that it's going to want me to do that because of this going on top. I don't know. It might let me do it, but it's not going to look good. Also, it's a carousel. I'm really not that concerned about it. So if we were to just put in some framed flywheels here. Maybe not the nicest looking thing, but it would be useful, that's for sure. And then we can put some decorative stuff on top. Just a couple of roofs, and then if I can, oh yeah, there you go. So our beaver statue be looking out over the top of our merry-go-round? I don't know, carousel, whatever you want to call it. I think I kind of like the creepy, like, mascot vibes this guy's giving off. I don't want to put him there though, so let's do that. Let's see what happens. Give them something to build that's going to actually benefit our beavers. And then in due time, the old beavers will die away and the homeless problem will solve itself by us ignoring it. Please note that it's not a valid strategy for real life homelessness, but this is a game that doesn't have any of those problems, so we can enjoy manipulating that mechanic. I did think they would build this a little faster though. So I guess we'll just leave that be for now. We are starting to get a little bit of higher number in the metal blocks, but the scrap metal is still pretty low. Let's take another look here again at our stuff for the mine. I mean, we can make one. We could definitely make one. It doesn't require power, so it's not going to be that big of a deal, but it is going to be kind of brutal on our beavers here. We do, however, have 16 unemployed over here, so I'll tell you what. Let's unlock the mine. Plop this guy down here and build ourselves a path coming out. How tall? Oh, okay, that's too tall. So I guess we'll just go ahead and put in our ladder here. Love the ladders. In case you hadn't ever heard me say that before. Just stick that there, and then lumberjack flag can go away. Right here next to the mine, we can put in our resources that we're going to need to actually run the mine, which is, if we take a look at this again, 1 gear, 1 treated plank. Very, very easy. Unfortunately, they require 2 different buildings, 2 different sizes of buildings, which is a little annoying with different capacities, but what can you do? The answer to that is not much of anything. In fact, this is kind of ugly, honestly. But no problem that explosives can't solve, right? So if we just dynamite this out, that'll give us a 3x3 space right here to put our treated planks. And then we can come in over on this side and plop in a storage for our gears. There we go. And then we'll have the scrap metal output, which realistically is pretty much going to be hauled away immediately and taken to this other district or to our smelters over here. So I'm not really worried about storing too much of that. Plus, I think the mine stores a good, what, 200 just on its own? So it's going to take them a while to get this all situated. They're not going to import any treated planks until we have a storage space for them. So instead of metal blocks, let's have this be treated planks, because the metal blocks can be stored in our smelters. So now we have a way to import the treated planks. They'll get to work on that. They should start getting this done. Let's just go ahead and set up scrap metal so I can get rolling as soon as possible. Max that out to 10 workers and leave them to it. Alright, so now back over here. Carousel's up and running. I love that sound. That's fun. So now we're making 728 out of required 400, storing in our framed flywheels. So theoretically, this should always be able to run, even if the wind is not going, because the wind never really stops blowing for too long of a period of time. All right, that's looking good. Now, what are these piles on the ground? Planks. We don't have storage for planks. So in this district, we have storage for almost 2,000. So we really don't need plank storage so much as we just need to be using planks. So I'm going to pause these 6 lumber mills. Gears-wise, I'm going to turn gear production back on so they'll use the planks. And we should be all right. Not really going to be that worried about it. Now, one thing, I know someone's probably already gotten severe anxiety watching this water number go down. Yeah, we have 2 days left in the drought, and we are running out rapidly. So I'm going to turn these pumps back on. We will not pump this completely dry in 2 days. But if we run out of water, it's going to be a bad time. So let's try to avoid that, if at all possible. And instead, you know, keep pumping. So one of the things we're going to want to do moving forward is going to be having some more of these. So let's go ahead while we're over here and just build ourselves a part of a second bank of these water pumps. Right, like so. Not the most aesthetically pleasing thing you've ever seen, but it is a space-efficient design. So can't really get too upset about that. Maybe we'll put some decorative dam blocks around the outside of this, dress it up a little bit. Not entirely sure, but I do know that for right now we really need to make sure that we are pumping as much as we can. Probably would hurt to have a little bit more storage too. That's something we could get into a little bit more over here. This really wasn't super well designed when I originally did this. I just kind of connected dots based off of what was available, what wasn't available. So that's going to give them something to do there. I'm glad the carousel works. Their well-being is now up to 37. So we should have a pretty... okay, there's 56 of them riding on it. Yeah, we really got to get those numbers up. Really got to get them up. Those are rookie numbers. How's this looking? Yeah, no treated planks yet, which is... Okay, well, we're importing them, so that's fine. They're just not quite gotten there. I think these guys are still carrying logs. Yeah, I don't see anybody carrying treated planks yet. Which, again, is fine. We're not at that point yet, but I am curious to see how long it's going to take them to get that finished up. Alright. Oh, lag spike. There we go. So all of these planks... I want to click on the stuff, not the beavers. Berries. Okay, we did get rid of the berries. But it seems like most of this is planks from our demolition of this whole thing. So let's evaluate our plank storage. I know we have 2,000 storage. Is that just in this district? Wow, it is. Where exactly? I guess it's one of these buried ones I never really think about. Logs, treated planks, metal blocks. logs, regular planks. All right. Just for the sake of, you know, actually having storage, let's just make another giant one for the planks. I do want to have this at some point buried somewhere where we don't have to look at it, and then covered with some other stuff. But that is probably a project for another day. And now I'm noticing farm-wise we're really, really low on the maple pastries, which seems to me like we have a problem with the amount of maple trees we're actually able to support. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to unplant, say, 3 rows. I'm trying to think of this as a smart idea. How much pine resin? We have 306, and that's full. I'm going to unplant these. I'm going to... do I still even have a lumberjack over? I'll build one. I'm going to cut these down and replant maples. It will take them a long time to grow, yes. I am aware of that, but it is important for us to be able to have adequate supply of maple syrup. I don't know if another 36 trees, or whatever the math works out to, is going to make that big of a dent in it. But judging by how much pine resin is sitting here that's not being used, I'm going to cut more trees. I'm going to cut more trees. So I think that is the, yep, that's the exact stuff I had outlined. Someone's probably thinking, hey, why don't you plant some other trees elsewhere? Well, not like I really need to conserve labor or anything right now, but having everything in the range of the same tapper shack is probably a smart idea. Probably. I'm not going to say for sure whether it is or not. But we definitely want to try and minimize the possibility for stuff to have to travel a huge long distance as much as possible. So let's see, this is set for supply, and this one is also supply, which means this one should be obtain to make it a little easier. Not that we really have that much to begin with, but that would substantially expedite production of this stuff. Now we got thirsty beavers. We really should not have thirsty beavers because we have 1,300 water, but maybe that's just an issue of the local storage isn't being filled. I'm going to set that to obtain. We don't really have any other water storage over here outside of... Okay, we have those two. So I guess that's just a problem for us to figure out exactly why we haven't done a fantastic job with that. I'm going to go ahead, put this lumberjack back in, so this guy can go ahead and start cutting these trees down, and then we'll replant them just as soon as those are done. All right, now over here we're still waiting. Still waiting. Man, they are not fast over here with the gears and the treated planks. Let me tell you. So, do we actually have... let's increase our hauling post staffing. I did not know that was as low as it is. Look at this. We got a ton of beard boosters working here in the hauling post in the Iron Islands. Joski, Skrymer U, we've got Boy, we've got Nano, MallesBixie, and Kumiko in here. I don't think these 3 are beard boosters, but we've had so many new ones in the past week. Kind of hard for me to keep up now, which is, I guess, a good problem to have. But I should definitely have that list up so I can make sure. Notes for the future. At the very least, we do still have some metal here that can be harvested. This is going to take a little bit longer to get back up online, but I don't think it's going to be the worst thing ever. Let's see. Importing gears, importing treated planks. Yeah, I mean, everything's going fine. We're just not going quite as fast as I would prefer. Alright, so the cutting has begun. Let's go ahead and put in maples. Just start planting those because they do take a really, really long time to grow. Yeah, 40 full days from planting the seed until when you can get your first little bit of maple syrup. So definitely a next episode, maybe even 2 episodes from now, bounty that we'll be able to take advantage of then. But for right now, this is about as good as we can do. Just do our best as the time comes. I'm definitely going to get rid of this pine seedling. I do not want to wait another 12 days, whatever it is, to cut that guy down. Alright, maples. Yeah, we really got to make sure we're on that, because these guys have been unmarked for planting, which means they will spread naturally. Which you might say, hey, why don't you just leave them assigned to be planted? Well, then this guy right here, well, he's not here right now, he's at home sleeping, is going to come in and replant them immediately, and we do not want that. We want to make sure that we're getting as many of these replaced as we can. Good news, though, is our sunflower seeds numbers are way up. Good news. The grilled chestnuts numbers are not way up, which is, I guess, to be expected when we mass manufactured a whole bunch of packaged foods. But we do have some more chestnut trees coming online next episode at this point. And we're just going to have to wait and see. We might have to tweak, plant some more trees up on the upper level, or even adjust stuff down here, have a second farm just for chestnuts. But I would like to keep things relatively organized. It's kind of a challenge. But that's why you play the games like this. You just try to get whatever you can get done. And whatever you can't, well, let's leave it for next time. So now that we have this taken care of, power supply is looking good. I was going to check and see how much is stored when those windmills are off. And it was, I guess, probably about half full by then. So working pretty well. We're just going to have to babysit this thing for a little bit. Have they finished the mine? They have not. But they are, they're getting kind of closer. Let's just make sure this, oh, no, I don't need that yet. No dirt excavator. I do want to make sure I have all of this stuff done by the time we're finished with today's episode, which is going to be another shorter, quote-unquote. Just a few minutes here, we'll start wrapping things up, try to keep this under an hour, out of respect for those who do appreciate the shorter episodes. But don't worry, we'll have some longer ones soon as well. I just want to make sure we're not completely overloading people who don't have the time. And I guess, frankly, I don't either, because I've got a lot of stuff I got to get done this week. So, unfortunately, 2-hour episodes aren't in the cards if that's something that you were hoping to see this week. But don't worry, they're not going away. Just shifting things around a little bit. All in all, pretty good progress today. Looks like we've gotten a nice bit of progress made here. Just make sure we have these all set up correctly. That way we don't have to worry about anything. Okay, that just completely invalidated all of our clicking. Alright, that's looking good. And we got a lot of beard boosters now. Not just like period point blank, like in these buildings. Half of these, say Joe. Jared, Darticus over here. Tanaka again. Davy. Rexo 17. And I guess that's it for these guys. Oh, I wish I had more maple syrup. Yeah, let's just get this good to go. Plant some more trees. Monitor construction on our mine over here. Oh, it's so close. We just need the rest of these gears, and we'll be good to go. It would be nice to have that done. But you know how this goes. Just do a little bit of waiting, or I guess a lot of bit of waiting, and a little bit of hurrying up. So there we go. Got 2 more trees here, one there. Making good progress, folks. Every little bit matters. So, as we approach the end of today's episode, I do want to ask your opinion. Did you think this is a good addition? With the carousel right here, right in the center of town with its own little power source. If you think that's a good land use, obviously the beavers are here in this apartment complex. They're having a fine time. This one looks really nice. I like this here. I like this here. I think it's shaping up to be pretty good. Town looks a little bit nicer. And overall, I think it's a big improvement. But of course, I do value your feedback, so please do let me know in the comments down below what your opinion on all that stuff is. I really, really want them to finish this. I got 100 gears. 100 gears left. Yeah, we'll just kind of, we'll park ourselves right here for a little bit, watch our construction while I get you guys prepared to be out of here today. So yeah, like I said, shorter episodes this week. I do not know if I will have an Ostriv episode out on Friday morning. Like I mentioned earlier in the week on Tuesday. Very, very likely I'm going to have to do some business travel, which is going to be making it pretty much impossible for me to record an Ostriv video unless I am home on Thursday night. So we'll see. Keep your eyes out. If it's not there, it's not there. There's really not much I can do about that. This week, at least. But we are going to be doing more live streams this weekend. Sunday live stream is probably going to be in the evening again. Got some stuff in the afternoon. But Saturday live stream, currently, I don't have anything that's going to be in the way of doing that at the normal time. So tentatively, I guess, plan for mid-afternoon Eastern Daylight Time for another diorama stream for Timberborn. And outside of that, I've been having a very fun time lately with some stuff. Sweet Transit stream, again, was fantastic on Sunday. If you have not had a chance to check that out, do please go watch that video. It's a very fun game. Kind of broke my brain for a little bit in the tutorial, but eventually got the hang of it. Nice train logistics and all that fun stuff. And I think we're going to be doing a lot more of that in live streams as kind of a replacement for City Skylines. So would really appreciate you checking those out and all of that fun stuff. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions for stuff you want to see in this series, or other things you might want to have me check out, comment section is always open. I always read them, and I always appreciate when you take the time to engage and let me know how I'm doing, or even just say hi. It's fun. That's right. It's the community aspect of this. So don't be afraid to engage. Appreciate you. I'm glad that you're here. I really hope they can get this finished in the next 30 seconds or so, because I'm just about out of things to say. But you know how it goes. Thankful for you. Thankful for the Beard Boosters and all of their fantastic support. Have to do scrolling credits for them now because of all the other gift subs and everything. That is a fantastic problem to have. So again, thankful for those folks. You can see their names on screen. And if you want any more information on that, there's links in the description. But please do not ever feel obligated. I'm just glad that you're here. If you want to be a part of that, the option's there. If not, completely fine. Just glad that you're here. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Whatever it is you're doing, stay safe, have fun, and we will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.